Section 7.2 Sets. A set is any collection of objects specified in such a way that we can tell whether any given object is or is not in the collection. So basically, what a set is, it is a collection of objects. Okay, so if you're somewhere watching this video, okay, so look around the room that you're in and pick out 5 objects. Those 5 objects form a set. Now, when we talk about a set in math, it has to be something called well-defined, and that is what the second part of this statement is talking about. Your set has to be specified in such a way that we can tell whether any given object is or is not in the collection. That means there is no ambiguity or vagueness about what is or is not in the set. Okay, if you have an object, you know one way or another if that object is in the set or not. Okay, so let me give you an example of something that is not a well-defined set so you can see what I mean. If we considered the set of all tall people, okay, say that was my set, okay, the set of all tall people, okay, well, what constitutes tall? Okay, is a 5-foot person considered tall, or does the person have to be 6 feet tall? Okay, or do they have to be even taller than that, like 6.5 feet, or does 5.5 feet suffice? Okay, this is very vague. Okay, it's not specific. Okay, we don't know what the criteria for tall is. Okay, so we don't really know who would fall into this set and who would not. Okay, because it's not defined in a specific way. Okay, so that is an example of a set that is not well defined. Okay, so if we clarified this statement, then we could form a well-defined set. Okay, so maybe if we updated this and we said, let's consider the set of all people, or of all people 6.5 feet or taller. Okay, and then, if anybody had their height measured, okay, we would know if they were 6.5 feet or taller, and we would know one way or another if they would be in this set or not. Okay, so this is a well-defined set. It's very specific. Okay, so we would know one way or another who would be in the set and who would not be in the set. Okay, all right, so as far as discussing sets, okay, and notating them, okay, if we go down here to the next bullet point, okay, we use capital letters such as capital A, capital B, and capital C to designate particular sets. Okay, so sets will be named with capital letters. Now, there are objects in the set, obviously. Okay, so each object in a set is called a member or an element of the set. Okay, and there are ways of notating this. Okay, so if you have an object lowercase a that is an element of a set capital A, this is what you're going to write. Okay, so if we have the object lowercase a, it is in the set A, you use this little symbol, okay, right here. It looks like a little strange E, okay. This means is an element of. Okay, so we would write little lowercase a is an element of the set capital A. Okay, so that is again just saying that lowercase a is an object in the set capital A. Okay, now if lowercase a is not an element of the set capital A, then you would just simply write, okay, lowercase a, that's your object, put your element symbol, and then like mark through it, put a line through it. So this is saying lowercase a is not an element of the set capital A. Okay, so that is the notation you're going to use to specify whether a given object is or is not in a specific set. Okay, now down here, some sets do not have any elements. Okay, so a set without any elements, that's called the empty set. The empty set is also known as the null set, and there is a specific symbol for the empty set. Okay, so basically what that is, okay, to draw the empty set, you're going to put like a 0 or an O, and then you do a slash through it, okay? So that symbol, when you see it, it is referring to the empty set or the null set, okay? And that is just a set that doesn't contain any objects, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of an empty set. So if we go back to our example up here when we were talking about height, an example of an empty set would be the set of all people 20 feet or taller. Okay, this is a well-defined set. We know one way or another if any given person is in this set, okay, because they have to, meet this criteria of being 20 feet or taller, okay? Well, any person you encounter, okay, no one on this earth is 20 feet or taller, okay? There's no person exists, okay? So there are no people in this set, okay? So this set has no objects, no elements, okay? It is an example of an empty set, okay? Now we're going to move on and talk about how we represent sets.